Hi guys, welcome to Let's Talk BD, the official podcast of the BD School, the first educational platform entirely dedicated to business development. Here we interview business development professionals working in the field every day, as well as startup founders, so they can give you all the insights, tips and best practices to help you become a better business development professional. Let's get ready for the next episode. Hi everyone, I'm Lucia and I'm your host. And today with me there is Giulia. Hi Giulia.
Hi.
And she's one of our former students, but she's also a licensed psychologist, a PhD, and co-founder of a company called aPsicologa. And of course, she's going to talk about that during this conversation. So without further ado, Giulia, let's talk BD.
Hi. So thank you so much for inviting me. It's so nice to have the occasion to speak about aPsicologa and to present a little bit our business.
Awesome. So yeah, go ahead and tell us everything about it. What is it that you do?
So we are two licensed psychologists. It's Federica, a friend and colleague, and me. And we decided to start this innovative company about psychology, because especially here in Italy, we are from Italy, there is sometimes a strong barrier in accessing psychological care. So, there is always this stereotype where the people say that, a psychologist is just analyzing me, or just, I don't need a psychologist, I just need to talk with a friend, or maybe that it costs too much. That sometimes can be true. So we wanted to overcome all these prejudices and stereotypes, and we decided to make going to a psychologist something fresh, something like smart and new, that is more, accessible to our everyday life. So what we did is just that we decide not to have a studio. So we are bringing psychological counseling into everyday life places. So we meet a person in a cafe, or in a park, or in a square. So we just hold the psychological session there.
Awesome. Really cool. And I really like that you said that you wanted to make psychological care smart. Because I think that's a nice way to brand it, because sometimes people are scared of the psychologist for some reason, and they just don't go because of this fear of being labeled. And while indeed, if we make it smart, because it's a good thing actually to go to psychologists, then maybe people are going to feel a bit more comfortable. So speaking of this, how did you, when you started aPsicologa, was it a barrier, this, prejudices about psychologists? Did you feel like that people were a bit scared of you or something like that?
Yeah, it's just that, sometimes also when you study psychology and you tell people, I'm studying psychology, people are saying, okay, so now you are looking into my eyes and you can analyze me, or... Or, I don't know, I just want to tell you the dream I just had last night. So there is a little bit this, this vision about the psychology, going to a psychologist, that is more related to like the movies, or to the, an old vision. And so we wanted to make people understand that they can also see a psychologist when they have like everyday life problems. So you don't need to have a really, really, really bad period to go see a psychologist. For example, you break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend and you want to understand what is going on, you can see a psychologist. Or you just you feel that something is wrong with your work, or you want to change your job, you can go and talk with a psychologist. Even for not a long period, but it's something that can just help you to have a different vision, a different perspective of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. We had a conversation. Obviously, I was really feeling overwhelmed by everything.
Yeah.
So I was like, Giulia, let's talk. And at that point, actually, there were some friends of mine which were also having some struggles, primarily in their professional life. And I was like, but why don't you see a psychologist? And they would tell me, no, I can do this on my own. I don't need a psychologist. And I was like, yeah, but if you go to psychologists, you do it faster. So it's a shortcut, like you can understand what's going on, do it, fix it, and you're good. So I don't understand why people are like, don't want to take this shortcut,
Yeah, because sometimes people also think that a shortcut is something bad, no? That, okay, I'm not putting all the effort I can put, but in some moment you just need a different perspective, because of course you are so in your mind, so it's hard sometimes to have an external perspective. That's the same reason why when you have something to discuss, you like to discuss it with a friend or with other people. But when it's something that is maybe a little bit more complicated, talking to a professional can help you to get a different perspective and to make it more easy to understand as well.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, and I have to say, so I prepared this question for later, but since we're here, I'm curious to know, what type of people do you currently help?
So now aPsicologa is focused on young people. So our target is millennials and Generation Zeta. So now we have this range that goes from young people in their 20s till people in their 40s. And mostly there are people that are for instance, talking more about their jobs, so something that they want to change, or people that are also, for example, living a difficult moment in their relationship, both in the love life or in the relationship side in general. Sometimes, with other people like students, they are struggling with their exams, or in proceeding, especially in this in this pandemic time. And so sometimes it's also something really practical in understanding, okay, what can I change in the way that I'm studying to overcome this difficult moment.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, that's really interesting to see that it's so diverse, actually.
Yeah.
But focusing on the millennials side, which is also a bit our audience. So the majority of the people here are millennials, so they're our colleagues.
Perfect.
And there is one thing, especially with business development. So sometimes, if you go to the wrong company, or maybe there is simply not a match, your time at that company can be challenging, can be frustrating, and it can also be very short. So sometimes people get fired after 6 months if they don't deliver certain results. Do you have some tips maybe for people that are currently undergoing maybe changes in their professional career as BDs, as how they can, better cope with that, better cope with the fact that they've been let go?
You mean especially when they, when they start the new job, or in the meantime, or when they have to change?
When they have to change.
Okay. So change is something really important in our lives, no? It's something that, give us a new stimulus. That is something important, no? The novelty part of our life. But of course, it's also scary, because you have found your routine, and you know what you have in your life, and then you have to change something. So my advice could be to listen to both sides of change. Okay, so what can I get? Which positive sides I can get from this change? So which are the things that I will learn? Which are the things that I want to, like the novelty part that I want to see? So what do I expect? So try to, face this with some curiosity and also interest.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fear part, so like sometimes the hardest part that you have to face when you have a change is the fear or the kind of anxiety that you can get. So the fear that you need to be perfect since the beginning, or the thing that people can just kind of judge you since the beginning. So try to be yourself, and try to also think that fear is useful to keep yourself active, okay, and focused on what you will start to do. So just to remember these sides, positive and negative.
Cool. And so speaking of change, because of course you started as a psychologist, right? And I think that's where your passion is, and that's why you started this company. But then when you started aPsicologa, you also became an entrepreneur. So I know that for me it was a big change. I really had to embrace that part. So how did you lead this change, and how was it actually? How does a psychologist turn into an entrepreneur? How was the process for you?
Yeah, that's really really interesting, because it was a challenge. It is still challenge, because you always have something new to learn and to improve. So the thing is, where I studied and where also my friend and colleague, the co-founder of aPsicologa, studied, we were like university mates. They, at least here in Rome, they didn't teach us how to, become an entrepreneur also in the psychology field. So we were all always really, really passionate about doing projects. So we did some applied projects for our thesis. Then I did a PhD. She also did a lot of projects in design. So we kind of developed also a parallel career after we finished studying psychologist. And that helped us a little bit to understand how to start a project, how to, see the first results and to keep going on. But yeah, the main challenge when we decided to put together all our ideas and to start aPsicologa was to see that as a business. So I remember when we participated to our first, a course that could help us to build aPsicologa. And they were talking about like business plan or like targets and things like that. And we were a bit, okay, it's a different language that we have to learn. So let's start from the basis. Like we have our why that was really strong because we knew what we wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But then, of course, we needed to learn on all the other parts, especially the business one.
And what was the most challenging thing that you had to learn so far?
Let me think. The most challenging is, I think the how to start a small business model. I think that part was the most challenging, because I remember when we started, like of course we held psychological counseling in everyday life places. So we don't have, for instance, to pay a rent for a studio. And so we say, okay, we don't have expenses. And then the people that help us say, okay, but you need to reach the place. So even if it's, €2 for getting the bus, you still have to include that in your business. Okay. So this kind of view now it's in a small scale, but still.
But that's funny that you mentioned the financial part, because for me it's also such a daunting task. Like, besides challenging, I just really don't like it. It's really tough, and that's challenging for me to really get into the mindset. Even just checking the financial sheets every time is like, oh wow, okay. And then usually I have like a dip in energy.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
Cool. And we already gave some tips for people that are changing jobs now, but how about other people in our situation? Like, imagine we were doing something else before. Well, in my case, I was still in business, but not as a startup founder. And it can be challenging. Sometimes it can feel very lonely, or also very overwhelming, What is your, how do you do to keep up with that?
Yeah, this is a good question. Yeah, there are a lot of emotions going on when you start your own business, when you start a startup, no? Because of course you start with a strong motivation, because you want to see what you are creating going on. You want to see it grow. It's like your kid sometimes, no? You have this strong attachment feeling. I know that you can understand me. So yeah, the motivation is a good part, but sometimes when you have a strong motivation, it's also hard to not to ask too much to yourself, because in some moment it's like that you are thinking that what you are doing is not enough. You always have the next idea. You always finish your day and you think, I still want to do this, and this. Or for example, okay, I'm seeing one of my competitors. Oh my God, they are doing this thing that is super good. Why didn't I think about it? I need to do it now. So sometimes a strong motivation can bring you in a kind of can bring you a strong activation that can also bring you to be too hard with yourself. Okay. So it's important to remember to reward yourself, to say thank you to yourself for what you are doing, and to keep track of what you are achieving, even if it's something small, because of course for make things grow, you need to do also really small steps, but each one of these steps brought you something really big and something important to you. So it is really important to keep track of them, to write them, to also to have a sort of a monthly journal where you write everything that you are doing, everything that you are achieving, also some nice things that people say about your work, your startup. It's something practical that can help you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really needed to hear that once again, because it's indeed very, you guys couldn't see, but when she was saying all these things, I was just nodding and laughing and smiling. I was like, yeah, that's me. And it is indeed challenging sometimes to just, just take a step back sometimes and just stop and look at what you're doing and then feel proud for what you did, while sometimes you're indeed too busy with what you're doing and you want to do more, and then it's tiring.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's something that I'm also saying to myself. So I'm saying that as a psychologist, but of course I'm also now an entrepreneur, even if sometimes it's hard for me to believe to that new part of me, of myself. And so it's something that I'm also doing. Like I did like this journal with all the, small achievement that we got in the first year. So it's something that, all of us need to remember.
Nice. And so you mentioned the journal. Do you also have some other tools that you created for yourself to reward yourself and to, feel proud for what you did so far?
Other tools, let me remember. I write a lot in general. Mm-hmm. I learned from my psychologist that, because also psychologists see
other psychologists.
Yeah. So I learned that so some years ago, and it's something really, really important. So to write what is going on. Also, sometimes just to free my mind and to, to try to put on a sheet of paper what is going on in my mind. That sometimes is not that clear, but when you put it down,
it makes sense,
right?
It
makes more sense.
I'm happy you say that, because sometimes, I have these new ideas, or I'm thinking about the next strategy to grow the BD school, and I'm like, okay, we should be doing this. And then I say to my boyfriend or to my friends, and then they start asking me a lot of questions. I'm like, wait a minute, guys, this is just too messy at the moment. So please don't interact with me. Just listen. Yeah. So that's true. And then when you write, it usually helps. Cool. And do you maybe have one piece of advice for someone that has, a passion for something, maybe studying also psychology and wants to create their own company? What would be your one piece of advice for young talent that, maybe are scared or just thinking of starting something on their own?
So the first thing that comes into my mind is like to start doing it, even if in a small way. But if you feel that you can put your passion in something, just start really small. For instance, when we started together with my co-founder, we started doing a really small project in a school, and we starting like a psychological counseling for parents. Okay, was something really small. We both had also other jobs, but it was something that makes us understand that our vision, so to bring the psychologists outside of the studio, was something that made sense. Because people were saying, it's so good that you are here at my school, so I just need to take my kid and I can talk with you and everything, no? So it was a small way to start, but it was something that makes us believe that we could do something more and more and more. So, just to try to do it. Write it down, try to understand how you can picture this. See if you can also maybe involve another person, because also the thing of having a co-founder or just, another person to share your project is something that really gives you a lot of enthusiasm, and also helps a lot your to understand your fears, because you are not alone in that journey.
Cool. Thanks a lot. I completely agree. Indeed, guys, if you have a passion, just go for it. And now to talk about something lighter. So we always like to talk about, our countries, because, we also want to inspire people to visit our beautiful places as soon as it's going to be allowed again. Yeah. And actually, in the previous episodes, we interviewed some Italians, specifically from Rome, and some Dutchies from here. And I think you're the perfect person to, to put an end to this ultimate battle, because you studied in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And you are in Italy now. So what is better, the Netherlands or Italy? And if both of them has something nice, what is this something nice?
Wow. No, they are both my home. So a little piece of my heart is is in the Netherlands, especially in Amsterdam, where I spent my a visiting period for research during my PhD. So, wow, life in the Netherlands, the biking part is something that I miss a lot. Also, the Dutch culture. I learned a lot also from Dutch culture, from the directedness part of Dutch culture. Helped me a lot in my job and in my relationship. And yeah, I enjoyed a different type of life, that it was always more really more outside, no matter the weather.
Yeah.
It was
true.
I remember the first day when I bought my bike and it started raining, and I say, oh my God, no, I can't go like this. Now my glasses are full of water. Now I can't see anything. It's so dangerous. After, I think, 1 or 2 months, I was biking under the rain. Super comfortable.
Yeah, that's true. Also, because otherwise you can't do anything in this country. So you need to embrace it,
Yeah.
And now there is this, some of my friends at the tennis court, every time that we want to go play and there is some rain, heavy or not, they're always like, yeah, but we can play. We're not made of sugar, right? I'm like, okay, we're not made of sugar, but still.
Yeah, exactly. And you have there your Italian part that is saying, no, you will get...
You gotta get sick.
Yeah. Put on your, your shirt and so on. Yeah.
And how is it to, as an Italian, because, well, now I'm here for 7 years, so I'm still very strong Italian identity, obviously. But I must admit, I took a lot from the Dutch culture and the way of living. Is there something that, like besides the being direct and so on, that you brought back and then now you use every day in your Italian life, but from the Dutch culture? Maybe even something small, like maybe with food or with anything else.
Let me think. So I think the weather part, even if it's not that that big, but it is something that I brought back, because I'm seeing sometimes the difference between other people, that they say, oh no, it's too cold, or like it's raining, or blah blah blah, or things like that. And then what else? I think also the thing that a more international view, because sometimes it was something that here in Rome I missed. Like I didn't have this international sharing with other people. I didn't meet any international in my university or things like that. So when I started going abroad, before in Sweden, then in the Netherlands, after that in Spain, I got this, this international view, and it changed me a lot, because now it's something that I can't miss. It's part of myself.
Nice. Well, that was really nice. Thank you so much, Giulia. It was really a pleasure to see you again and to share your story. I have a question. Do you do consultancy only to Italians or also internationals?
Like I can do that in English for sure. For now, I just have one international person. But for now, I guess that they are not coming, just because the website is just in Italian for now. But every international person that can speak English is welcome.
Awesome. So, guys, I can testify. I did the session with Giulia, and she's absolutely amazing. So, if you want some help, or even just someone professional to talk to, go check aPsicologa. We'll make sure to put some links in the description so you can get in touch with Giulia. And for now, everyone, thank you so much for listening. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, Giulia.
Thank you, Lucia. A big hug.